Individual life is comprehended by knowledge as a continuous course santati in which are linked the notion of individual forms, nama, rupa, one disappearing, another appearing, one subsiding, another arising uninterruptedly, apubvam acharim. The process of going of Nam and Rupa from one state of existence to another has been also explained. Both Nam and Rupa are in perpetual flux. On the dissolution of the body, the physical gross form remains here and is disintegrated in the temporal process. The subtle form of the Rupa, more correctly the seed residuum, submerged with the conscious continuum, flow with the proceeding stream of physio-psychic amalgam, activated and inspired by the force of accumulation of the impression of the moral and immoral actions. Material quality born of one's karma or previous action, kammaj rupa, is called upadin, that is those that are produced depending upon conscious relations to matter or grasped by craving. Thus, the life is compared to a flame and rebirth is transmitting of this flame from one to another. The flame of life is continuous, although there is an apparent break at the time of the death. The continuity between the lives is the subtlest level of consciousness. In Milind Pahion, there is a description of the transmigrating of the mind and matter on rebirth. King Milind asked, when someone is reborn, is he the same who died or different? Acharya Nagasen replied, neither the same nor different. When a lamp is lit for the whole night, the middle or the last flame is not the same as that act of previous birth, nor entirely different. Kinno kho Maharaj, ayo so ahosi, purima yama deepe, ayo majhima yame padipo, ayo pachimo yame padipoti. He is nahi bhante tam yev nissaय sabaratiम पदीपोति एवमेव खो महाराज धम संतति संदहति अयो उपज्यति अयो निरुज्यति अपुब्बम अचरिम बीय संदहति तेन न च अयो पूरिमा बियान न पश्चिमा बियानम संगहम गच्छति ति. He further explains that butter, curd and ghee made out of the milk are neither milk nor entirely different. Further, the king asked, if anything passes from body to body, would we not be free from all immoral actions? Nagsen asked in reply, if someone steals mangoes and the owner charges him, can he argue that mangoes stolen are different from the one planted by the owner? So, when someone dies with craving and enters another existence, he will not be free of the past deeds, good or bad. It is said in the text that Raja Aha Bhante Nagasen ko patisandhati ti थेरो आहा नामम रूपम खो महाराज पटिसंदहति किम इमम येव नाम रूपम पटिसंदहति ति न खो महाराज इमम येव नाम रूपम पटिसंदहति इमिनापन महाराज नाम रूपेन कम्मम करोति शोभनम वा पापकम वा तेन कम्मेन अयम नाम रूपम पटिसंदहति ति. यदि भन्ते न इमं येव नाम रूपम प्रतिसंदहति ननु खो मुत्सो मुत्तो भविष्यति पाप के ही कम्मे ही ति थेरो आह यदि न प्रतिसंदह्य मुत्तो भवय्य पाप के ही कम्मे ही यस्मा चाखो महाराज प्रतिसंदहति तस्मा न मुत्तो पाप के ही कम्मे ही ति. It is also stated that one cannot escape the consequences of karma. It is the karma that amounts the difference in our birth. As a man himself sows, so he himself reaps. No man inherits good or bad action of another man. The fruit of the same quality with the action and the good or bad, there is no escape from the action. There is a great role of Hadaivattu as a ground or a base in the rebirth Patisandhi. Hadaivattu is closely associated with Manodhatu and Manobiyan Dhatu. The tradition maintains that the Hadaivattu is the subtlest form of the material quality. The simile of the touching the end of the fur of the newly born monkey on the surface of the cup of honey on the end of the fur is the simple indication of extremely subtle nature of the Hadaivattu. It is united with the conscious stream as substratum by the relation energy known as Sahajat Pachay. In the state of harmonious combination of the two together with the transmission of the karma accumulation, Achay Gamino Dhamma, under the generational force of desire, there is unhindered way faring of the two from one state of existence to the other. In the Milinda Pahyo, we find Nagsen telling King Milinda that any name, say Nagsen or Sursen or Birsen or Sihasen, is only a generally understood term, a designation in common use, for there is no permanent individuality involved in the matter. Na hettapaggalopalapti sankha samaya payati boharo namamattam jadidam nagseno surseno birseno sihaseno ti. Further, quoting the scriptural evidence, he told that as making the assembly of the various parts of the chariot, there is a conventional name of chariot. Similarly, making the existence of the five khandhas, panch khandhas, there is a conventional use of a being. It has been said in the text, यथा ही अंग संभारा होती सद्दौरथ होती एवं खंदेशु होती सत्तोति समुत्ति. Thus, the five aggregates have been called the aggregates of grasping, upadan, khandha, because they represent the five things to which a person clings as his personality. It is specifically stated that these five aggregates of grasping, constituting what may be called the personality, are causally conditioned paticca samuppanna. The Buddha said that one who knows the reality of the paticca samuppada and paticca samuppanna never runs behind the past or the future periods and never doubts about the present. So was I in the past, what I was in the past, will I be in the future, what am I in at present, etc. Thus, Buddha's theory of Paticca denied the possibility of any permanent substance. According to the Buddha, the Atmavad is the root of all the problems. the belief in the eternal self is responsible for generating desires, tanha, ditti. It is the one of the four wrong perceptions, vippalasa, about the nature of the world, and grasping conceit, man, and false views, upadan. It is the attvad or the sasatvad which leads an ordinary persons to the extremes of either self-indulgence or self-mortification. Thus, from the foregoing accounts, it may be presumed that Buddha used the theory of dependent origination to justify the concept of anatta. In its place, the Buddha established consciousness and proved that it is two causally conditions. Thank you very much for your patience hearing for this module. I hope that the concept of no soul, how it is related with the law of dependent originations, and how Buddha had justified the law of dependent originations with the concept of no soul, you might have understood. Thank you very much.